And Pat Edmondson is going to introduce Rosalind, and she is our political committee co-chair. Take it away, Patricia.
Okay, we'd like to welcome Roselle Gibbs, who is standing in for Katherine tonight because Katherine is grounded by a volcano in Guatemala. And Roselle is Katherine's right-hand man. So Roselle, are you there?
I am here. Thank you.
Excellent. Take it away, Roselle.
Okay. And
I'm going to stop sharing my screen now.
Okay.
So everyone can see everyone if you want to be seen. Again, the meeting's going to be recorded, so if you don't want to be seen, please turn off your camera and mute yourself. Put your questions in the chat, and if you would like to share how you heard about our meeting, you can also put that in the chat also, please.
I'd like to welcome everybody. Like to welcome everybody joining us tonight and give Roselle a big hand for pitch hitting tonight for Katherine Waldron, who apparently is grounded by a volcano. So welcome, Roselle.
Thank you.
And I'm sorry, go ahead.
It's okay. Do you want me to start now? I'll be glad to.
Yes, please.
Please, okay. Well, first of all, let me tell you a little bit about Representative Waldron. We've known each other for probably 20 years now, and we've worked together on many projects. One of the ones I feel proudest of is her healthy food, healthy living bill. It did not get passed this year, but it doesn't mean we're going to give up on it. She worked 2 years for that one, and she started with Robin Bernstein, I believe it's her last name, and the CARES program, which after the hurricane in Puerto Rico and in Haiti, she started a CARES program where food and water and clothing, generators all went to Puerto Rico, some to Haiti, to help them after Hurricane Maria, I believe was the name of it. And they worked for a couple of years trying to do that. And Katherine's been on the board of the Boys and Girls Club, and presently serves on the Salvation Army board. She's a busy person, I can tell you that. And she really has. And and obviously those who know her know how she supports the clean water. She served on the subcommittee for water and or clean water, and she worked very hard trying to get the right bills through it that would help with the clean water. Also, well, I had started before to tell how a bill started and how the representatives worked, and we work all year long developing bills, tree bills, license plate bills, bills that take care of people, and obviously environmental bills. We work all year with our constituents and with state experts to develop our 7 bills. As a representative, you get 7 bills, and then you want to get co-sponsors to help with your bill. You are the prime if you introduce it or file it, and then you get some co-sponsors, hopefully both sides of the street, so that you can get that bill as far along as you can, because it doesn't do much good if it fails. We also put together appropriation bills, and you can have as many as you want, but normally you end up with about 5 to 10, and we had 6 this year, and one of them was, which we're very, very proud of, the Ideal Place bill that we work with Pulte Home putting together, which helps young people who are intellectually challenged when they get to be 22 years old and they're no longer in school and no longer have a support system. This project will build housing and for them, and hopefully get jobs that they can handle and do, and live away from their home, away from their parents, who have been very supportive, but many of them have other children, and many of them have jobs just to support the child that is in need. So this project, we have $1 million. We got $1 million for that one, and Pulte Homes has put in about 15 million, I guess. But this will help build a few more. The project itself is going to be basically the first one of this kind, and they hope the Pulte Foundation hopes to duplicate it all over the state. So we're very proud to be part of that. Some of the other things that we worked with are out in our area. It's called the Property Rights Act, and unfortunately it got relabeled as a gun act and it didn't go through. But it's stray bullets leaving one property and going to another property and hurting someone. There are no laws against that now. We tried to get some legislation passed to create some laws, and we had a whole lot of sheriff's departments, including the Palm Beach County Sheriff behind us, trying to get this done. That's the first step we take, and we do it all year, but particularly in committee. You've heard of the committee meetings that we go to, I'm sure, and then we file it just before session. After one of the next thing you have to do, once you get your bill straight and ready, you have to find a senator who gets as many bills as they want to help you with it, because it has to pass not only the House, it has to pass the Senate, then it has to get all the way through the whole process to the governor's desk for him to sign. Sometimes he signs it, sometimes he doesn't. But there were 3,000 bills this year. 291 made it to the governor's desk, and he's busy signing them. He hadn't signed them all yet. And the appropriations bill has passed. I don't know whether you've been reading the newspaper, but the appropriations bill itself has lost a lot of money. The governor vetoed an amazing amount of money, close to $200 million. 80 million of what we represent, which is the Democrats, 80 million of ours did not pass. And that means a lot of Republicans didn't get theirs either. But yes, that is true. I see the chat. And it is very difficult for the Democrats to get anything through because the Republicans have a supermajority. As hard as the Democrats work, all 35 of them, all 35, I consider myself part of it too, but 35 of them get up and they holler and scream. If you've ever watched on your computer the satellite of the session, it's amazing. One of Katherine's bills, which got a really cute nickname, was the Black Bear Bill. Have people heard of that at all?
Yeah.
Well, the Black Bear Bill is one that keeps people from being criminally liable for killing a bear if they feel their life is in danger, in jeopardy. And in this state, we have 4,000 black bears. To get to 4,000, we came from 300 in the 1970s, 300 black bears, and now we have 4,000, and now their lives are in jeopardy if somebody leaves their trash out, and the black bear comes because he's so hungry into your backyard. You can kill him, even though because you don't have to prove you felt like you were in danger. So we worked hard, and Katherine's nickname was the Black Bear Lady. And the Speaker of the House would call her, "Oh, here's my friend, the Black Bear Lady." So it got to be kind of funny up there. But Katherine fought so hard to get this changed, get it thrown out. But again, the supermajority of Republicans passed. They don't even have to get up and say a word. They just start the vote, and that's it. 35 Democrats, 99% of the time, vote for the decent bill, and the other side doesn't. So therefore, the clean water bills that you look at, and you see every year, we put them in, and they get vetoed. Except Senator Berman got one through this year, which we are very proud of, and that's testing of the beach water. The water has never been tested before, and to keep you from going into the water if there are bad stuff in there. And she did a great job. Katherine worked with her, and Representative Waldron, I should say. But anyhow, they worked together on that. It was not our bill, but we were a co-sponsor. Now, what I got to was that when you get your bill filed, you need to find a senator on the other side. The ones that we have had such wonderful luck with are Senator Bobby Powell, Senator Lori Berman, Senator Tina Polsky, and we did have one with Gail Harold, Senator Gail Harold, but they took on so many of our bills and worked so hard to help us get the other half through. And like I say, we ended up with 2. We ended up with 3 last year, and this year with the 2, but I'm proud of what we've been able to do considering we don't have a majority. Now, I'm going back a little bit to the bear one because I think people need to know about the injuries, and of 61 people in all of North America were injured. 14 in the lower 48 states. That's not very much considering how many people are there. There are 750,000 bears in North America. And like I said before, there's 4,000 in Florida. And we're very pleased that there are. And we wanted to protect them. And I want you to know that in the last 20 years, there have been injuries, but nothing but injuries, not severe. There were actually 2 in Florida that were a little more severe than any of the others. So these bears, you have less of a chance of bear coming into your doing harm to you than, say, a dog or a snake, an alligator. These bears need to be protected, and we know your group is good with that. Some of the other things that we have worked with the Green K water project, and the project out on Southern. We worked with those water projects, and I guess I'm sure that you as a Sierra Club know that we are also working, you may know, we're working on some tree bills, planting of trees to help cool down our environment. We have several that we hope to get in next year. I'm going to stop a little bit and let you ask questions, because I probably am rambling on more than you want. Do you all have questions on anything I've said?
Well, we do have a couple in the chat.
Okay.
You already mentioned the fact that the Republicans have a supermajority, so
Yeah.
and you did describe a little bit how Representative Waldron navigates through that.
Yes.
I guess through partnerships would be.
Partnerships,
Yep.
co-sponsors.
And co-sponsors. Okay. Sometimes we struggle with that terminology, right?
Okay.
Because we're just
Okay.
citizens.
Okay, let me tell you how that works a little bit, and then you ask your question. The person who files the bill is called the prime, Prime, prime. And if you're the prime, you want to get co-sponsors to come in. And normally during a session or committee, someone will come up to you and say, do you believe in this one? And can you help us with this one? And if you're not the prime, you might sign on to it, Democrat or Republican, and you become what's called a co-sponsor. And you work as hard as the prime works to try to get it through. Does that help a bit?
Yes, that does. Rhonda, I see your hand up. We've got 1 or 2 more things in the chat, and I'll get right to you. Or is this the same question you put in the chat? So Rhonda asked earlier in the chat, if a stray bullet from shooting a bear hits someone, there's no law to protect the victim that got shot by that stray bullet.
Well, that's correct too. But this, I don't believe I did as good a job as I should have on the Property Rights Act, because that was our we primed, and that was our main one out in the unincorporated areas of Lake Worth and Wellington and Boynton, where we represent that area in the legislature, and that's District 93, part of District 93. There are a lot of people who have a lot of acreage. And the property rights bill basically says that if you are on your property and you're target shooting, or you're playing around with a gun or anything, we would want a law that says that if that bullet you're shooting, target shooting, playing around with a gun, showing somebody else how to shoot, goes onto somebody else's property, and one of the people we were helping was shot in the back by a stray bullet from a target practice area. and that did not have a proper berm, did not, they didn't care. And it was called, the name of the subdivision is Heritage. Horses that we could, none of us could ever afford in our lives, probably $5 million. So a couple were injured. And when this other couple was out on a horse with their children, bullets flew through their yards and where they were running. And we just want those people who don't take care of their bullets and keep them on their land to suffer some type of consequence. Even I know that out in your area, there was a gentleman in a boat fishing out in Loxahatchee, fishing, and he was shot by a stray bullet, killed. So this was one of the bills that we felt was necessary, but again, we were led along. We thought it was going to happen. We had all the groups that were in the injured parties and people who had an interest in it out in that group come to Tallahassee and talk to the committees that our bill had to get out of, to get to the House floor, to get to the Senate floor, to get to the governor's desk. That's how hard it is to get one bill through. We had them all come up. They even brought movies of where they were shot, where a bullet, that you could see a bullet fly through a barn, and nobody cared. But out and I'm sure out in your area you've heard of this before too. I don't know whether that's where you all are basically out there.
Yeah, I think we have heard about it, and occasionally there's something in the paper about it.
Yes.
But unfortunately, did that bill even make it to the House floor? Did it get out of committee? How
No.
far did it get?
It did not get to the House floor. That's how, and all we did was trying to help the police, the sheriff's department, the police department, where we're only trying to say, keep your guns, although we don't like that. Keep your guns, but watch your bullets. And if something did happen, it was a misdemeanor and a fine, but it gave the police the right to investigate, to find out who, about the thing. Right now, there's nothing. The police go, oh, we can't do anything about that. We had 7 policemen in a row, including a couple of captains, who said, well, there's nothing we can do. You've got to get this bill through, so at least we can take the first step. Unfortunately, one of the problems with this bill, and we're hoping next time we introduce it, we won't have this problem, but the Republicans, we put it in as the Property Rights Act, which makes sense, right? And they changed it to the Gun Act. So immediately the NRA just got all over us. We must have gotten 1,000 phone calls from NRA members, and it went down because of the pressure. Not on us. All of us were for it. It was the other side, the supermajority, that killed it. But this is just an example. The Black Bear bill, the trying to get it vetoed, the property rights, the Medicaid expansion bills, all of them. This is an example of how hard Representative Waldron works for the people to try to get these things changed, but we need help. We need everybody's vote to get all the Democrats in there so we can have government that is more balanced and maybe even a majority one day, like we used to have. But again, questions would be good because that way I can tell.
Okay, Rhonda, did you have another question?
I did. So we've been looking very carefully at the ballot item, Amendment 2, the constitutional right to hunt and fish. And we
Yes,
realized that all the senators and representatives signed on to it in 2023, except for Lauren Book. And
yes.
I recently asked Robin Bartleman, what was that about? And, was it mom and apple pie? And she said, yeah, pretty much. And there are a lot of issues with it,
Yes.
including wildlife populations. So what would you recommend that we do, since Sierra Club has just adopted an opposition stance to that constitutional amendment? What would you suggest we do in terms of talking to our legislators?
Right. Well,
Get them to reverse their, not reverse their vote, but to say whatever it is that would help us in our opposition.
right. Well, the best thing that that the public, the voters, those of experts in fields like yours and areas like yours, is to take that bill, take it and have a committee or all of you work to see what can be saved, what can be changed. I mean, and amendments appropriate to make it so it suits the people.
I'm sorry, Ms. Gibbs, this is on the ballot. This is on the November ballot.
Yeah, right. Yes. Okay, yes, you're talking, I know which one you're talking about.
Yeah,
What can you do?
Yeah.
Are you for it or against it?
No, Sierra Club
Against.
has taken a position against it. And
Yes,
it's
I
very, very
thought you
serious.
were.
Right.
I would think you would.
And
But
so all the
but-
signatories, which is everybody but one, we'd like to talk with them perhaps, or I don't know.
yes,
if
the
you advise we
representatives.
should.
Yeah. You have to talk to the people who represent you. You have to talk not only, I mean, you've got the county people, you've got the state legislators. They need to hear from you. You need to go to their office and you need to have them discuss with them what you want in things and what you don't want, or introduce your own bill.
Right, but I think Rhonda's question is, since
Yeah.
it's on the ballot,
What's
will,
gonna happen?
if we speak to our representatives and will they change their mind? Can they change their mind?
Yes.
Will anyone know if they change their mind? Or how do we how do we get our message across to other voters? Because it's going to come down to individual voters, I believe.
Well, I mean, you have a lot of voice. You do. Social media of visiting your representatives, your senators, sitting down with them. I mean, they need to hear from you, and you need to have a solid reasons and basically what's wrong and what you would like to see changed. You're just saying, oh, I don't like this, I don't like that, I don't like this other thing. Why and how should it be changed? Yes, they can change and I've even seen some of the Republicans change. We had one of the Republicans, which we worked very well with, which was Dr. Rudman, Representative Rudman. He's down in Miami area. And he helped us with so many things. He is a good point to go to talk about these types of things if you want a Republican. Peggy Gottlieb, she also is very good. Some of the Republicans, and you really do have to get some of them on board, I unfortunately. And then you come to the Democrats with that person, saying, oh, that person's good, that person, then we can help with the bill and work with that, with the changes that you see you need. And yes, they can change their vote. They change it all the time. And in fact, they tell you they're going to vote one way and end up voting another way. So, no.
Right. But the problem is it's already on the ballot. So I think maybe a different tactic.
It must be an amendment. It's an
yes,
amendment.
it's an amendment. So
yes. Well,
whether my representative, yeah, I guess. So yeah, I guess, Rhonda, I would say, write letters to the editor. If you wanted to create a piece that we could put on Facebook, for example, we have a Sierra Club-Loxahatchee group Facebook page, and we could even boost it to get more reach. And basically, you have to talk to your neighbor, anybody that's a registered voter who's planning on voting.
Yes. Well, as we go campaigning again every 2 years, people have asked us to take some of the Amendment 4 and several others, and as we go door to door, talk about those to people. Yes, we can do that, but we need you to put together what you want on it. And Representative Waldron would be glad to put it in letter form on her stationery, and then you can put it on your Facebook page or your social media. Do your social media and ask people. Yes, that's a good way to do it. We do it all the time.
Okay. So if we wanted to make that request, would we send an email to you?
Yes.
Okay. Could you put your email address in the chat so then everyone can jot it down? Because I think that would also be the way to try to move a new bill for the 2025 session through. Is starting it with, say, emailing you and having a discussion with you, and then you discuss it with the representative, and maybe even have a sit-down meeting or something to get an understanding for what we want and what we don't want in the future, as well as anything that's on the ballot. Well, we could get a letter from her to put on in our Turtle Tracks, our newsletter, a letter from her to put on our website, a note from her to put on Facebook, because Facebook tends to be a shorter version. That might help us, Rhonda, to get a little more traction for our side.
Yes,
right?
Correct. And we'll be glad to work with you to make these suggestions. The more pressure you get from particularly groups like yours that are experts in different areas, the more you get, the more that we can. I'm trying to put let me get this in here, and but we'll be glad to work with you on any way and talk to you about how to get the word out.
Okay.
No problem. That's
okay.
We would love to do that. We would love to.
Okay, Roselle, we've got a couple more questions in the chat, and Richard, I do see your hands up, but hold on. Merrill asked, what would you say are the 3 worst environmental bills passed and signed into law this year? I guess the bears is one.
One that we
What
were.
else?
Yeah.
What else besides the bears?
I'm not mentioning climate change.
Oh, the fact that that climate change has not been recognized at all. In fact, the governor has decided that there's no such word. And that's probably the worst thing that's happened, because we can't get started unless we can do that.
He rejected federal funds to
Right.
harden your houses.
Right, rejected federal funds to harden houses, even and not putting enough money in the Safe House bill or in the HOA bill, which would help put new roofs on things. Oh, well,
That's-
obviously the property insurance bills
That's
that
it.
didn't get produced this year. We did put one in and it got rejected, but or vetoed. What else do we have? We
That's
have a
it.
lot.
On
I
Friday.
don't think, I honestly think the worst thing that's happened is the ignoring of what we need to do to, particularly in Florida, about the climate change that we're seeing, and all of us know about it. I guess, I mean, is that, is
Yeah,
somewhat of
that's
an
good.
answer?
That's good.
And
Okay.
I mean, I get furious when I talk about them, so, and how
Okay.
we aren't recognizing what we need to do. But go
Okay,
ahead.
we'll get back to some more questions in the chat in just a minute. Richard, you wanna ask your question? Your hand is up, I believe.
Yes, it is. And, I did want to follow up on the climate change issue, that the
Yes.
bill. I actually would like to see the word climate change eliminated too. In fact, it was promulgated and popularized, beyond its original, it was a term being used, but it was Frank Luntz, Republican strategist who helped Newt Gingrich with a contract for America, who really they analyzed all the different terms that they could use to address, the climate was being addressed by, and climate change was the word that they preferred because they felt it would have the most confusing and least impact on people's perceptions of what I call climate warming. So I wouldn't get personally, I wouldn't get too tied up about eliminating the word climate change, but I did want to point out also that the state of Florida has had a surge in Republican registration versus Democratic registration.
Yes.
That's pointed out by Michael Williams, the WPTV show on Sunday mornings, called To the Point, in which
Yes.
his
Yeah.
Brian Crowley talks about that a lot. And so I did want to ask, 2 years ago, I supported Representative Waldron in her bid to become the representative for Wellington. And
Thank you.
Tom Gustafson, a former Speaker of the House, encouraged me to do so. And he's, I don't know if he's been in touch with Katherine Waldron, but he's formed a 501c4 called Florida Friends Network. And just wanted to know what your, if you're aware of that, and,
Well,
if
I have about 20 texts. We have met on a Zoom, 20 texts from Tom. We have met on Zoom, and we've met with the FAU people. And our problem is Tom is way trying to do a lot. What we've been talking about doing is taking areas and basically, well, particularly in our area, Green Acres was one of the places we would like to develop a cooling center, which means trees, correct? And put trees into an area that doesn't have trees and see how it works and then expand a bit. I think Tom Belong really, he has incredible ideas and he's an incredible force. And this is, I don't know, you've read about he sent us the information on Brazil, and he recently sent us the information how Colombia has planted trees and how it's cooled the environment. So we have been working with Tom and we want to continue. I think we want to narrow it down to a more of a state issue, just because that's where we are experts. But
yeah, and that's
Yeah.
not to interrupt you, but that's exactly what Florida Friends Network is
yes,
a group of citizens who like join it's a polypartisan organization. So it's not just for Democrats or not just for Republicans, but
Right.
everyone, who's a potential registered voter and that agrees with has a common interest in, for example, defeating Rick Scott in the 2024 election. And so it's a membership organization.
yes,
And yeah, just wanted, have you spoken with, you said you've spoken to them quite a bit. Have you spoken with
quite a
them
bit. Yes,
about that organization?
yes. We have. I have.
Oh, okay.
Oh, yeah,
Okay.
in fact, I just got another email from him. I think it was last Monday he did. He was asking, we wanted to put together another Zoom meeting. So I guess that'll happen once I get my member back from Guatemala who's having
Yeah.
having a problem now. But we want to set up time and meeting to talk about that because we are very interested in putting a bill in.
Oh, okay, that's a very good lead in to another question that's actually in the chat. And it's
Okay,
from Gary. And in addition to the questions above, can you discuss the tree bill, which is something you were just discussing, these
Right.
cooling areas? It's all the same. Are they different? Are they the same?
well, they're all different types of tree bills. I think that again, the organization that we were just talking about would like to go to areas that are, well, obviously, there's more poverty in those areas because they don't have a tendency not to have trees.
Tree
Say
deserts.
that, yes. But the whole problem has been with that, FAU people talk to us about it, is that then you have to, if you're going to put them there, you don't have people who are concerned with those trees to make sure that they're watered and taken care of and that they can mature properly. Where in another neighborhood, say a shopping center area or something like that, where people are concerned because they don't want them to look bad, they'll go water them, they'll take care of them and things like that. And that, like I say, the FAU people feel that that is the approach we should start with and then move on from there. The other types of tree programs they have are like in Brazil. They took a whole mountain and put 2 billion trees on it. Obviously cool down the area and it helped the mountain. I mean, the mountain looks beautiful too. Colombia did the same thing. They took a mountain and put a lot of trees on that. It looks, I imagine that they're close, several, I mean, millions and millions on that. It's a smaller mountain, but those are the types of programs that are everybody's working with. And it seems like the smaller countries in South America that are really suffering are doing a better job than we are here. But
Hey, we should plant trees on our landfill mounds.
yes, Yes,
Well,
yes, I
don't know
agree with
whether
that
that-
100%, 100%.
And exactly how do you protect the methane gases from leaking from the
Well, that's a
landfill?
different question.
Yeah.
Well, that's a different one,
Question.
and we've got, that is another project that we have to work with too, because that's, I mean, as our trash piles multiply, it's getting to be a real problem, the methane gas situation.
Is your
Okay. Let me
But
go
then-
back to the chat, if I may. Richard,
Okay,
I see your hands up, but you had a
Okay.
turn. Hold on. Gail asks, how much support does a bill need to get out of committee? Is it a
Oh.
simple majority? Is it?
yes, that is correct. There are usually 7 to 10 people on a committee. And consisting of Democrats and more Republicans, of course. So it really, to get out of committee, you really have to work across the aisle. And that's, it's in the committee, say, Katherine is on the main committee, education committee. And she was very good at getting some of the education bills out, but some of them also got vetoed once they got out. But yes, you work with
Okay.
it first in committee.
Okay.
And the
Gail, also-
Democratic, let me tell you, too, we have an incredible support system, the Democrats do, which is why with our tiny little group, we can get things done. The Democratic caucus up there, that is on the 3rd floor. I don't know whether any of you have ever been to the Capitol and visited our Democratic caucus. They are incredibly brilliant people who help us get bills through, help us rewrite our bills, help us explain our bills. They're wonderful, but that's part of the process. And I spend a lot of time with them. So,
Okay.
working.
Gail had a follow-up question in the
Okay.
same chat, kind of about the process, I guess. How important are phone calls and emails to your office? I mean, do you sit there with like an Excel spreadsheet and go 1 vote yes, 2 votes no, 1 vote yes, 3 votes no, and come up with a total at the end of the day?
We have done that on several of ours. We did, well, this wasn't one of our bills, but HR1, the voucher bill. I like that. We probably got, I don't know, 5,000 phone calls. Some in favor and some not. And some just wanted to talk, to find out what it was all about. We got emails, where it says contact your representative. We had so many emails, you cannot believe it. And we tried to get back with each one, but more with that kind of thing, people wanted to know what it was about and how it would affect them, not for or against. The most calls we got this session, and they were in that we got in our office in Tallahassee, was on the what bill was that one? The marijuana bill, the CBD bill, where the Republicans are trying to lower the effectiveness of the marijuana health bill. And they ended up, it was passed, but I don't think it really hurt any more. I didn't think it hurt as much as we thought it was going to, or the group did. There are 90,000 people in Florida working in that industry, or in that retail industry. And I think I got a call from all of them. I swear, but that's how it works. And obviously, if you get that many calls, you get to thinking about it, which way you should vote. and how you know, they were saying, well, we're going to lose our jobs. Wow. That makes you think twice. And it does affect how you vote. Calling does. But
Okay.
yeah, okay, go ahead.
Okay. Okay, thank you,
And yes,
Roselle.
we keep track of them. Yes, we
yeah.
keep track.
Okay, and I want to thank you for putting your email in the chat so everybody can make a note of that. I will try to include that in our follow-up email in the next couple days after the meeting. So
May I
you
make
may
a
get a couple
request
different
that if
things. Yeah, go ahead.
may I make a request that if anyone, the tree bill is important to us. And we'd like to hear from people of your group, the people in your group, about how we might formulate that and what best to do. So, and I thank you all for that question, those questions. Go ahead.
Yep, because that's a good follow-up, because Richard typed in the chat. Is your tree
Yes.
initiative restricted to planting Florida native trees or South Florida native trees, or just trees in general? Do you understand his question?
We would try to stay with the native trees. The mangrove trees. I don't. Had you all heard about there's there are 4 or 5 colleges that have put together a group who want to restore and plant more mangroves in along some of the rivers. If you ever hear, I mean, really, I'm sure you all understand what the advantages of having those mangroves in around, say, the St. Lucie River particularly would mean. I mean, you got that it helps clear the water. They help clear the make it cleaner for the fish, and they're unbelievable. And this group of young people between, I guess they're 18 and 25, they work so hard, and they came up to us 3 or 4 times and maybe help us get a bill to put in next year. So that's something you may want to look into and see if you can help with that too. It helps clean water. It's clean water. They're native. It's unfortunately it's gone down. The mangroves have gone down, and it's sad.
Okay. Yeah, it is sad. And I know we're big advocates for native plants and
Yes.
planting of native trees. So that would be great if that is the requirement on the future tree bills that you're initiating.
Linda, could I talk a little bit about one other thing that we
Sure.
worked really hard on? Was with Palm Beach State College. They're putting in a program to train EV mechanics, electronic vehicle mechanics, which really helps with the environment. But right now, EV cars are having problems with being fixed or maintained. And Palm Beach State College wants to put in, and is, because we've gotten them some money too, a program to train mechanics for EV, because that's one of the reasons people don't buy them, and other than that they're expensive. But they say that once it's broken down, you only have one place that you can go, and that's Tesla. And Palm Beach College wants to do something about that. We got $7 million from the federal government, working with Congressman Frankel, and $3 million from one other source our bill did not pass that we had for a couple more million, but because I guess the Republicans do not believe in that kind of car, or they have enough money to take care of it themselves. But that's another thing that will help our environment. We can just get there. There are other issues with it, I know. They don't pay gasoline tax, which makes our roads nice. But we'll figure that out. We just need to get there first. Okay, sorry.
No, that's great. And that actually is a little bit of a lead in. We're working on a program, general meeting program in October for nonprofits to take advantage of the federal funds for direct pay. You know, individuals like you and I, we get the $7,500 tax rebate for buying an electric vehicle, but the town of Jupiter doesn't need or can't use a tax rebate. But there are ways through the federal funding for the town of Jupiter to get those funds if they were to buy electric vehicles. So we're working on that program in October. So
well, we're working on getting them fixed when they don't break down.
yeah,
so.
yeah. Right. And it sounds like maybe you got some of the money for the Palm Beach State College, possibly through that direct pay procedure. Don't know.
Yes.
But we can certainly try to promote the Palm Beach State College EV mechanics program.
Thank you.
And because some people may have friends, relatives themselves that want to take the class, become a licensed EV technician.
Right.
Because I think that's the way, it's the way of the future.
Definitely.
And hopefully communities can also take advantage of the federal funds to put in EV charging stations, because that's the other big
Exactly.
sticking point, I
the
think.
new commercial ones are excellent. They charge within 10 minutes, you can get a full charge. And many of good Democrats who own businesses are putting them in, and I appreciate that.
Yep. Okay, does anyone else have any other questions? I've got one more announcement at the end. Anybody else? Rosalind, do you have any other remarks? And I was going to, in the next moment, just share that the Sierra Club Florida chapter has on their website the 2024 legislative scorecard. And it's kind of unfortunate, and I know it's not due to any fault of yours, Rosalind, or the representatives, but overall, the legislative scorecard was a D+ from the Sierra Club. And you can also click on the link and see some more details about some of the individuals. And that is on the Florida Sierra Club website, just for your information. Any other closing comments?
No.
It's getting
Did
about time
you
to
want
wrap
the
up.
question? Do you want the question?
Sure. Now is the time for the mystery question. Oh, I should get the hat back up on the screen.
Okay.
Thank
How many people in Florida have been documented to have been killed by a black bear?
Okay, everybody, get your fingers in the chat. Oh, Rhonda, I think. What do you think? Rosalind? Can you see the
People got it
chats?
right, I see.
Okay, it looks like Rhonda's first. The answer is 0.
And Pat got 0, yeah.
Yeah, and Linda got 0. So Rhonda, if you want to privately chat me your address, I will be sure to send you your hat, and congratulations. Do you want to say anything, Rhonda, in Just,
No, I've
are
been,
you
thank you,
overwhelmed?
thank you. Yeah, I'm just completely overwhelmed. Yes, I thank my mom, I thank my cats, I thank my dog. No, I have been spending hundreds of hours on the bears, including the bear bill and including the right to hunt and fish. So yeah, we have to, and you know that Saturday is the deadline for DeSantis's signature on the HB 87. Of course,
Yes,
Saturday isn't like typically a work day for him, so we should all be expecting something tomorrow, if
yes.
not. And he does these things late in the day, when he doesn't, or else he doesn't
Oh,
sign it
12
and it
o'clock
goes.
at night, too. He does,
Yeah, exactly. Or if he doesn't sign it, it'll go through anyway.
yeah, exactly.
Thank you, Rosalind.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you, Rosalind, and thank you, everybody, for coming. Hopefully you've learned a little bit more, and we just need to be more aggressive, I guess, with our representatives and telling
Yes.
them what we want.
Absolutely.
Yeah, you can
Okay,
sign.
well, thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Rosalind.
you.
Oh, do we have?
Thank
Yep,
you.
we just have thank yous coming in now on the chat. I was
Thank you
checking.
so much. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Roselle.
Thank you. I appreciate
That's great.
all the support. Thank you. Bye-bye.
We wish Catherine well. We hope she gets home okay.
Me too. Thank you. I hope so, because we got a lot of campaigning to do too. So thank you. Appreciate it. Okay,
Thank you, everybody.
bye.
Bye-bye. Good
Bye,
night.
everybody. Good night, everybody.
Good night, good night.
Good night, Gail. Good to see you.
Good to see you.
Yeah. Good night. I'm just writing down Rhonda's address so I can send her hat.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thanks, everyone.
Hey, I lost charge, and I don't know if my question about trees got answered about
It
what.
did. It got asked, and she's gonna I think it was already in the tree bill that they've got in mind, but she was aware of they would be asking for South Florida native trees
Nice.
for in any tree bills. So that would be a stipulation, I guess.
Is that a
Now,
bill
that
that?
said, it goes
ahead.
through the committee. That might get changed, but that was the intent.
So this is a bill that's going to be introduced next year.
I believe she introduced it this year, and she's introducing it again next year.
Nice.
It didn't get out of committee, I
Yeah.
guess, this year.
Oh yeah, I remember that. That's right. I remember that discussion. So yeah, no, that's really good to keep pushing in terms of like, so a bill doesn't necessarily get introduced the very first time and pass. So
Right.
yeah. Okay, Linda, thank you so much. We will stay in touch.
Okay, thank you, everybody.